Why don't you just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do and what you're all about?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My name is DeVon Manier. I co-own and operate Bandwith Management, which is a Seattle-based, talent management agency. We deal mainly with musicians, kind of a small boutique agency. Currently, I manage the Black Tones, and the agency, we also work with Warren Dunes, Bear Axe. We work with a few different, Seattle bands. Prior to that, I've been managing bands for probably about 8 years. And before that, I owned a record label in Seattle, hip hop label that we operated for 12 years called Sport and Life Records. And been a Seattle music commissioner and just try to stay involved in a lot of stuff in the region, as much as I can that has to deal with music and advocacy and art, whether it be an artist in or the back end, and just try to be involved,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big thing, what I'm trying to do with this podcast is just try and keep people connected to the industry while this is going on, and just give people resources to latch on to.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of people here up at Western and just in Washington in general struggle to take those first steps with becoming an artist, and just like knowing what it takes to take things to the next level. And I'd be really curious to hear about what you think, like from a manager's standpoint, what an artist can do to elevate themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And take things to the next level.
For sure. I find the most common thing is, bands usually start for fun with friends, and you play some gigs, whether it's house parties or in bars and stuff. And some bands start to get a little more serious, but I do see often that there comes a point where a band, they're bringing this many people to a venue, or this many friends and family show up, or fans, and they just don't know what's next, And that's kind of where, as far as management goes, when you see a band get to that point where it's like, hey, they're bringing 300 people out, but they don't really know what to do next after that. It's like, we've reached this milestone we've been trying to get to since we formed, you know what I mean? And now what's next? And to me, that, bands can start, that's when it's time to take it serious at that point, and at that point, it's a good thing to reach out to, not necessarily management, but reach out to other people to join your team. It could be a publicist, it could be an agent, but it's definitely time to open up the gates a little bit and start talking to people, whether you bring someone on or not, but just start talking to people and understanding, asking questions about what's next, what should you be doing, where should we go from here, and understanding how to repeat the cycle in the next state over, or the next city, which would be Portland or Bellingham, that type of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I think there's a lot of people who are at that point and really they have that first step, and they've got that first crowd, but taking it to the next level is really the tough part. And it can be getting over your own shyness thing and being prepared to show yourself to other people and show yourself out. And
completely.
Yeah, I think, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and then just to add on to that too, I think as far as when I say time to take it serious would be, it's when as a band, you need to look at yourself and just what you've been doing. It's like, okay, we're a band. Now we need to become a business as well as a band. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's when just, everything, when I say take it serious, from replying to emails on time, to bookkeeping, to actually tracking your merch sales, and, doing analytics and things like that. But it's time to take it to a business level, because at the end of the day, it is the music business, if you're trying to break into the business. If you're just playing music, that's totally fine as well. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. We all love music, But if someone is actually trying to be in the music business, at some point they have to switch that part on, understand what a settlement sheet is, and all, the other lingo that comes along with things, but to really just dive in, you know what I mean? Because it's one thing to play local bars, but once you start, opening for a national act that's touring, or you raise the status of that bar to an actual venue like a Numos or a Showbox or something like that, they operate a little different than just a bar that gives you a couple of dollars cash at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just moves differently. Or working with colleges, same kind of thing. It moves differently. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A band can understand that a college paycheck might not come for a few weeks. They're thinking they're going to get paid that night. It's like, no, this has a process. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to learn that myself. I mean, going
yeah, for sure.
Trying to get bands out here. I mean, it's a pain, but
Yeah, I hear you, no doubt. And these days too, it seems like social media gives a lot of bands this false type of reality that, obviously everyone wants likes and followers, but you also have to turn those likes and followers into true fans and people that actually spend money and buy your music or show up to a show, because online life is a lot different than real life,
Oh, it's so different.
Yeah, so different,
I mean, like a like and a follow is, I mean, what is that going to
do? Yeah, exactly. It's a like and a follow. Yeah, I say I like and follow a lot of things in one day on the internet. You know what I mean? It's doesn't mean I'm spending money on those things at the end of the day either. You know what I mean? Yeah. Someone's got to turn me into a fan,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think understanding how to do that is one thing that the bands could do today. Is just, like I say, if it's the band, if they bring it on a team, but just going further beyond that superficial, the likes and the follows, and just understand, okay, how do I convert this person now? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I feel like that's been one of the major changes in the past 5-10 years in the music industry, is just how make or break an online presence can be. It seems like there's a few people who really have figured out the tools and how to take advantage of it best to really garner the most followers, or not even necessarily garner the most followers, but just create the most loyal fan base that's willing to really support the artist.
Yeah, I hear you. Really understand those tools. Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think there's any other new challenges or new things that artists are having to overcome, just like in the world we live in today?
Yeah, I mean, there's COVID today, you know what I mean? Which is there's that side of it, which to me, we're going to go back to some sort of normal, but we're not going to go back fully, like even your events, you may have thrown an event that has 3,000 students at it. I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe all of a sudden that venue capacity has changed now to 2,000. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be different, So we're going to have to still rely on those live things, but people are going to have to understand this live streaming is amazing. I mean, it doesn't always look amazing when it's just a musician in their bedroom playing. I mean, I get it, but the other things that you can do with this to reach all the students on campus at the click of a mouse, or your fans all across the country, all across the world, So I think embracing that more, but getting creative with it, not just here's me streaming on my phone, starting to put some production value into things, you know what I mean? And I've seen all kind of cool stuff throughout, I'm sure you have as well, throughout the pandemic, but people putting together variety shows and doing just all kind of cool stuff. Like I say, adding production to the streaming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the COVID. That's what we're dealing with there. And then, can you repeat your questions? I have another side of it. It was what are the artists dealing with today? Challenges. I think the other challenge would be everything's in their hands now, and they're not used to that a lot of the time. I mean, there's an app for accounting. There's an app for, your stage plot. There's an app for touring. There's an app for everything. And it's all these things that you used to rely on a label for, or all these people that had their hands in your pockets to do. But it's like, wait, I can get a small team together and we can do all of these things. We can be a label, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of people realize the power they have, It brings me to a point, a discussion I had with an artist not too long ago who was complaining about, streaming royalties. And I understand, I mean, it's not the money that it could be, but we're in a different world right now. I mean, at least it's not a free download. You know what I mean? We'll get there somehow, But I was trying to explain to this artist, it's like, look, it's in your court right now. You can leave the streaming services if you want and make your music exclusive in one location, And if you do that, you can probably drive your traffic to that one location, you know what I mean? But it's, I'm not saying streaming service is pro or con, but in an artist's mind, a lot of the time, just being on those platforms makes them feel like they've made it or something like that, kind of like I'm on Spotify now. But really, you're a blip on Spotify compared to everything else that's out there, And when you're small like that, and if you want to make money, like I say, I mean, Bandcamp is a great place. And if you can actually drive your people to come to Bandcamp and spend the money with you first, and then put your music on Spotify maybe 30 days after your release or something like that, I think a lot of indie artists would be in a better position, and have vinyl and physical stuff as well, But make it, don't make it part of the buffet right off the bat. You know what I mean? Just hold it over here and then release it like that. That's just my take on it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a super good way of doing it. I mean, especially for smaller artists just getting a jump on things. It's like having 10,000 fans on Bandcamp is way different than having 10,000 fans on Spotify.
Completely, yeah.
Way longer.
Yeah. You can maybe make those Bandcamp people are going to actually listen to you. You know what I mean? You can message them directly. You can say, hey, I'll give you this for free if you buy this. You can do all kind of stuff. And people just need to experiment a little more, see what works. I would never say there's any one right way, but just experiment and see what works for you and your fans. If it doesn't, after a while, trial and error, try the next, and you'll find your little groove for sure,
Yeah, totally. I think there's a lot of unique challenges that smaller artists face, especially when they're coming up like that, where like a lot of artists, they see these artists who just strike virality. They go viral and they just don't even need to like take these steps that most artists need to take. And it kind of misguides people into thinking, oh, I'm just going to try and
do that.
I'm just going to blow up and like,
and
the whole blow up culture that the internet has created hasn't really like panned out well for a lot of smaller artists that would be better off.
Completely.
Just a slower route and like gaining the fan base and getting the finances that they need and stuff. But
I agree. And taking the time to understand the business, not just be thrown in it and like, okay, here I am. And again, you'll find yourself, what's next is what you'll find yourself doing, as opposed to going through it. You kind of create your own path. You know what I mean? For instance, the Black Tones who I work with, I'm a bit, me personally, my style of management, I love to find a band that no one knows about yet and help work with that band group. I have a love for that myself. You know what I mean? Some people want to find bands that are established, to each their own. But I love to find a band and then just to kind of help groom them and show them how everything works every step of the way, whether they stay with me or not. When they part ways with me, at least they know a lot more about the industry than they did before they met me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great resource to give to artists coming off. I mean, I definitely want you to be my manager if I was in that position.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like, some people like to hold information from people. I'm like, what's the point of that? I mean, share it. I mean, it doesn't have to, you get to this manager artist thing that always, if you watch TV and you see that, it's like, is the manager's the bad guy? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that. So it doesn't have to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not all managers are that way,
Yeah, I think having a partner relationship where you're seeing that growth, I think that's super valuable.
Exactly.
That well for just on a personal level, it's like you're not like, you don't have like the superiority like type thing going on with your art.
Completely.
You're just friends.
Yeah,
like,
it's a partnership, you know. I tell all my clients they run the show. It's almost like the client is the artist, is the the board of trustees, and the manager's like the CEO that just runs the day to day. But I can't make a move without the board's permission. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's that type of thing. So there's nothing for them to get afraid about. It's like, well, we work together, but a manager has to have the keys to just go run with it every day. You know what I mean?
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, I think, I don't know, I'd like to see some changes in the music industry coming out of the pandemic that support smaller artists more. And I think people people want to support their local artists, people want to be a part of that scene, but a lot of the times it can be hard for people to kind of take that first step and
Yeah.
become a supporter and become a fan, like that actually is contributing to, like, not necessarily like a huge financial contribution to the band, but like buying an album once in a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for sure.
stuff. And I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you think is going to change after the pandemic, like for these small artists? Like, do you think it's going to be easier for them to get off because people are going to go out and do stuff, or do you think that, like,
yeah, that's a tough one, because I can see multiple sides of it. I see a lot of bands that have given up also, that just like, and I can speak from multiple clients I work with. I have clients that have done great through the pandemic because their fan base is feverish and they've decided to put up new merch and do this and that and engage. I have other clients that have just tanked during the pandemic because maybe they don't engage with their fans that way, or their fans just don't move like that, or the artists themselves are like, well, I'm not into this live streaming, or they found themselves in a certain funk or something like that. But going forward, I think the hardcore fans realize even more how much their support matters. Like, their support mattered already, but I think they realize it even more now. Especially when you have Bandcamp doing things like taking no fees. I see the spikes on those days where they're offering that, and the fans just being, jumping in like that. But yeah, it's a tough one to call, honestly, because I don't know where the venues are going to be at. I don't really know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm ready to hit the ground running when it's time. We had tours set up with the bands. We had all kind of stuff ready to go. But going to South by Southwest and doing all type of things, and it all just came to a stop.
Yeah, I just hope.
Yeah, I wish I could answer that one more, but I'm kind of stuck on that one, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope it hits the ground running just as fast as we're left.
Yeah, I miss it. I need music in my life, man.
Yeah, me too. And I really miss those live shows a lot.
For sure.
Streaming has changed a lot of stuff, but there's nothing that can really replace that,
No, that energy of a room and seeing the people and just being like, man, we're all here for this collective reason, to hear that band live, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I got
you play music yourself, man? I don't mean to switch the gear. I was just curious.
Music myself.
You do? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been making beats for like 10 years, and
oh, nice. Okay.
I play guitar as well. And
nice.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite toy is my drum machine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Nice. No, it's good. Definitely. I kind of figured you did, but I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. I love it. Even if it's not for a financial gain,
Yeah, exactly. It's in you, man. You got to get it out regardless, Yeah. That's the same with me. It's like, even if I keep a part-time day job, and then we have the agency with a couple of partners. But it's like, even if I didn't make money with the agency, I'm into music so much that I'm sure I'd work with one band at least, just as a hobby or something. It's like I can't help it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
See something I like, I'm like, man, let me help. Yes, please.
Yeah, totally. I definitely I miss the collaboration of just being around different artists too, and just seeing that has been I mean, it's been hard to like find like Instagram is all right for artists and stuff, and I think that there's other platforms like YouTube has been really good with their live stuff, but like just like on the collaboration aspect of it, I think it can be difficult for artists to find that collaboration and to find that right off the bat. But I think that'll come back more as the pandemic.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Yeah, it's you know, technology kind of affects that as well, because I come from an era where I'll just take hip hop for instance, you know, where rappers would actually be in the same room together while recording, you know, but yet our kids come from an era where, hey, I'm just gonna send you the MP3, I'm gonna send you the file, you know, or the wave or whatever. Put your verse on it, send me the file back, and you know, and I get that technology makes it amazing. You can do this with friends across the world now, you know, and make music. But there is a difference in the energy that I hear when I hear those songs versus people that are just together in one room creating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like it's a little bit more calculated in that way.
Yeah, completely. Yeah,
like it's
doesn't mean the song is any less or anything. It's just different. You know? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think being in person can bring out that just kind of like that jamming, just kind of messing around jamming aspect that kind of brings out different sound.
Sure.
Not necessarily find just you know, recording over
a beat you just heard 3 days ago. Yeah, you know, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I wish I you know, it's like it's hard to find the right questions to really talk about the stuff that's important in these moments, you know. And I really do. I want to talk about like race in music, and I want to talk about like what disparities like I know like Seattle and Bellingham, it's like they're pretty white cities, and I just wonder what
the
like,
Northwest
like black artists facing in Seattle that a white artist might not face, and like how can we like just
you know, it's funny that you mentioned this, because I'm actually just been brought onto a committee with the city where they're trying to look at this under a microscope. And it's odd because I couldn't personally identify a lot of stuff today. Now, if you had asked, if they had asked me this question, they asked the same question you're asking, like a certain amount of years ago, you could identify it more. But it's almost like in the last 12 years or so, it's because rap has become popular, you know, like, you know, rappers don't have really, you know, have issues booking nights in Seattle like they used to, you know what I mean? But there was a time where it was definitely a tough thing, you know what I mean? And, you know, DJs and clubs and certain crowds, it's almost like because now it's popular, so it's like it's everywhere, you know what I mean? But there was a time where people were getting turned away, this and that. But what I did notice was more not on the artist end, but like the industry end. You know, so say you go to Numos or to a venue, you'll notice that most of the staff, if any of the staff are POC, they're probably like security guards or something like that, you know? So it's like that kind of stuff I've noticed more. It's like, well, how about more bartenders or sound people that, you know, open up the door to whether it be POCs, transgender, anybody. I'm just saying, you know, that's the one thing I see. You'll see like white males a lot, you know, in these key positions throughout the industry, the sound guy, the stage guy, the this and that, you know. But when you come see the black male, it'll often be the security guard, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, that kind of thing I see. But on the artist end, like I say, I know it's probably one of your main questions, but I haven't seen much in Seattle lately, you know what I mean? Because everything's been kind of flowing that way anyway, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, Bellingham, I haven't been up there for a while. I mean, Bellingham always been supportive of me and my label for like, I mean, my label was back around like Blue Scholars and Macklemore were doing their early, so I was kind of in that era, you know. So Bellingham has always been open to us, you know. But so I don't know what a lot of other people have experienced, but I was kind of in a different position, you know, so to speak, you know, which I wasn't just the average guy coming to Bellingham trying to book a night or anything and getting turned away or something. I just happened to be on a different path at the time. But I'd probably stick more myself. Like I say, I see more in the industry, less with the artists, you know. Maybe maybe sometimes there's in Seattle, there's like some what's the word I'm looking for? Just you know, people wanting to pigeonhole you and put you in a box sometimes just because, but again, we're in the Northwest, man. I get it. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are just excited, you know what I mean? It's just what it is, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, like, from just like being in like an audio technology minor here. It's like it's definitely like a lot more. There's like a lot of white dudes who are interested in it. I mean, hey, look at me. You know, like,
no doubt. And it's tricky. I don't know if it's this, and it's, you know, and it's not. I mean, obviously, like, you know, Bellingham, I don't know what the percentage. We're just going to say black and white. You know what I'm saying? But in Seattle, you know, black people are down to like, the black community's down to like 7% of the city or something like that. So mathematically, I understand, you know, I'm like, well, man, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? We can't get much more. But then also to open it up, just knowing that those communities know about the opportunities could probably help as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe there's someone that's interested, but they just didn't even know that opportunity existed, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one of it. Yeah. But we're in the Northwest again. So the percentage is very small. So sometimes I get it. I'm like, well, we're not in LA or Washington, DC or something, Philadelphia. It's like, we're in the Northwest, man, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you said Blue Scholars. That was the first concert I went to. I was like, I was in sixth.
Nice. No doubt, man. Now we used to do shows with them all the time, man. I managed the artist named D Black way back in the day. Now he's changed his name to Nassim. He's Jewish and moved to Israel, but he's still doing hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, him, Macklemore, Blue Scholars, Common Market, all that stuff back in the day. That was, we were all in that era, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it was a good time for sure back then.
Yeah, that reminds me of being a middle schooler, being young.
Yeah. Funny to see, like, too, I mean, for you being in middle school back then and seeing where Macklemore is today, kind of a trip, right? It's just like, it's just like, whoa, this guy. Yeah.
I mean, I went to Washington Middle School, so
okay, got you. Okay.
I remember like just going outside one day and just seeing him out there, like filming the music video and just being like,
yeah, no doubt, right?
And then when all that the thrift shop stuff happened, I was like,
like that guy. So you from Seattle, or?
I am from Seattle. I'm from West.
Okay, cool. I'm live from Beacon Hill right now, man.
Yeah, I'm up in Bellingham now, but
yeah, I hear you.
I'm raised in Seattle.
Yeah, nice, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think a couple more questions here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I understand.
It's my first time doing a podcast, so.
Yeah, I got you for sure. And then you gotta chop it up and take the good bits and everything. Yeah, you know.
Let me think. So. What inspired you to become a manager in the first place? I'm curious.
You know, honestly, nothing other than me being organized. You know, I'm a very organized person, and I like things with boundaries, and I love to move projects around. So an artist, you know, if I were to look at an artist not as a human being, I'd look at it as a project. So I'm just like, man, this is just the same kind of thing. I'm moving it around. But I've been into music forever, my whole life, and I can remember friends, bands in high school, and me not wanting to manage them. You know what I mean? It's like, this looks like a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Or in my early 20s, you know, it's like, no, I'm just your friend that shows up for the beer. You know what I mean? But in 2000, we launched about 2001. We launched the record label, and throughout that, I honed my management skills. So by 2012. It's kind of when I went full-blown management, you know, and I was like, wait, the label did great, but I really like this management thing, you know what I mean? I actually was drawn to it. So I used to manage, you heard of the act Fly Moon Royalty?
Yeah.
I managed them for many years, man. That was like after the label, that's kind of where I went, was with them. And worked with them for a good 6 years, and then they broke up and then moved to the Black Tones. But yeah, it was just kind of swayed from the label into management, just knowing that that was my strong suit, you know? Yeah. Was never a dream or anything like that, for sure.
Yeah, they say your plan B is what
Yeah.
becomes, you know?
Yeah, no doubt, yeah. And, you know, and I'd say in the label days, there was probably a lot more babysitting going on. These days, it's really more like, I don't really have clients that I have to do like that with. It's more like we just sit down and handle business, you know, so far, you know. And then you get your clients that are not good at communication, you know, you get all types, and you just have to mold and adjust to them, kind of just like, this is how this human being works. Let me work with them, you know what I mean, basically. So you really have to be a people person and understand people, for sure, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a very intimate relationship, you know.
Communication definitely must be the most important thing.
Yeah, it is. And setting up systems, you know, so that people actually know what you're doing every day, you know, and just knowing that you can look back and be like, okay, we were here 12 months later, now we're here, you know, and you can actually measure your work and what you've done, you know, which again goes back to your first question about bands before being focused. It's just like they're just doing stuff to do stuff, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how it all starts, you know, but at some point, what do you want to do? Do you want to just keep doing stuff to do stuff, or are you doing stuff to actually move you forward now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd like to ask, like, just like a wrap-up question, just kind of talk about like I want to provide people with like concrete things they can do to go support their artists, that like beyond just like, and maybe this isn't immediate, you know, maybe it's not like right now because we can't have live shows and stuff, but what do you think, like what does it mean to be like a proper fan?
And, you know, I mean, show support the best way you can. It's not, you know, even if it's not financial is obviously great, you know what I mean? But even if it's not, I mean, be a champion for the band, you know, if you really care about a band and think their music is that cool, share it with everybody on the planet that you know, you know what I mean? To where they're not annoyed by you, you know what I'm saying, basically. But it's that serious, because luckily we have something like the internet, and even before the internet, word of mouth was great for music, you know. But I mean, you can just get to so many people. It's like, man, share the links, share the videos, share it, you know. So, yeah, definitely. And if you can spend the money, spend the money, you know. But yeah, like you say, shows in the future, supporting merchandise, you know. Like we mentioned before, Bandcamp is a great place. Bandcamp has, all throughout the pandemic, every first Friday of the month, Bandcamp has been taking no fee from artists. So it's been a great day for artists to just have, you know, cash out with people. Yeah, those things always, they always matter. They've mattered since the beginning of music, and they matter now, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Even though the internet is here, it's like, it's still the same things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends, you know? Yeah. Yeah,
right.
donate during live streams, you know? I mean, that's probably been one of the biggest struggle for some bands. It's like, there's been so much live streaming, and not everyone's not going to just hand out money at every live stream they're watching, you know what I mean? I think that's been a big struggle. So I think coming up with clever ways to ask money, whether it be digital on the screen with banners or whatnot, or you asking numerous times vocally. I mean, just not assuming because you're playing and your PayPal link is there that people are going to just hit it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe
they just watched 8 other shows, you know? Yeah.
Like once we hit $100 in donations, we're going to play our new song. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. I even saw a company we worked with during the pandemic that showed you a progress bar, which was kind of cool, because it made the people donating, the fans, the viewers, more apt to be like, oh wait, they're almost at their goal. Yeah. Let me give them $10, $20. Let's help them reach their goals, because we can actually see it now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everyone's trying to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Anything comes up, feel free to email me or let me know if you need to talk again or anything,
Yeah, I'll be reaching
Sure,
out.
man.
Hopefully.
All right, man. No doubt. And hope, like I say, hopefully we can get out there to the campus sometime, man.
All right.
All right. You have a good one.
Yeah,
Peace.
thanks.